You sit in front of charts, headphones on, eyes fixed. The world fades. It's just you, the candles, and the chaos. To the outside world, trading looks like a solo sport. A quiet war fought in pixels and percentages. You click, you wait, you win, you lose. No teammates, no coaches, no crowd cheering. Just silence, and that voice in your head that never shuts up. But here's the truth. It's never really a solo battle. Every trader you admire, every success story you've ever heard, is standing on something, and someone behind every calm decision is a support system quietly holding them together. A mentor who once said, "Don't give up." A friend who reminded them to step away after a losing streak. A journal full of painful lessons. A belief that refused to die. You see, charts don't build consistency, systems do. Not just systems of strategy, but systems of support. Because when the market hits you hard, and it will, you'll discover something no one writes in trading books. You're not fighting the market, you're fighting collapse. The collapse of your patience. The collapse of your focus. The collapse of your self-belief. And when that collapse begins, who or what catches you? What's holding you up when the market knocks you down? Is it a trading partner who checks in after a red week? A routine that resets your focus? A journal that humbles your ego? Or is it nothing at all? Because if it's nothing, then every loss feels personal. Every red candle feels like an attack on your identity. And that's when traders fall, not from bad trades, but from bad isolation. The myth of the lone trader is romantic, it sounds powerful. But in reality, it's dangerous. No one trades entirely alone. Even solitude has roots, experience, community, faith, belief. The best traders don't just build strategies. They build structures that hold them steady when emotion takes over. So before you look for the perfect entry, ask yourself a more important question. Who or what is holding me up when the market knocks me down? Because that answer will determine how far you can actually go. The market doesn't just test your skill, it tests your silence. Because after a losing day, the noise isn't on the chart anymore. It's in your head. Every candle becomes a question mark. Every decision becomes doubt. And in that silence, you start talking to yourself, but not always kindly. That's where the listener comes in. The listener is that one person who reminds you that a bad trade doesn't mean you're a bad trader. Could be your partner, your friend, your mentor, or sometimes just a voice message from someone who gets it. They don't give you a signal. They give you space. They listen not to fix you, but to remind you that you still exist beyond the screen. Because here's a truth most traders never admit. You don't lose your edge first, you lose your emotional balance. And when emotion goes unchecked, logic follows right after. Trading is emotional warfare disguised as technical analysis. Charts are just mirrors reflecting your state of mind. If your mind is restless, even the perfect setup will look like a trap. That's why emotional support isn't weakness, it's armor. Having someone to talk to resets your nervous system faster than any trading break can. You begin to separate the trade from the trader. You stop personalizing losses. You stop catastrophizing red days. You begin to realize you're not the only one bleeding. You're just the only one bleeding in silence. When you share your frustration with someone who understands, you're not venting, you're releasing pressure. You're keeping your mental equity intact. Because emotional fatigue is just as real as account drawdown. And when you run out of emotional capital, even the best setups won't save you. So, if you ever find yourself staring at the screen after another loss, don't just ask, what went wrong with the trade? Ask, who's listening to me right now? Because you can have all the indicators in the world. But if you don't have someone who listens, you'll mistake loneliness for logic. And that's when you start trading emotions instead of strategy. Every trader needs a listener, someone who hears your chaos before it becomes your next mistake. After every losing day, there's a moment that defines the trader. The moment after the charts go dark. What do you do then? Do you analyze your mistakes or justify them? Do you face them or hide from them? That's where accountability comes in. The mirror every trader needs but most are afraid to look into. Because the hardest part of trading isn't losing money. It's admitting why you lost it. Accountability is brutal honesty in its rawest form. It's your trading journal that exposes the pattern you swore wasn't there. It's your trading buddy who asks, "Why did you take that trade when your plan said not to?" It's uncomfortable because it holds up a reflection of the truth you keep avoiding. But here's the paradox. Without that mirror, you'll keep repeating the same mistakes, just in slightly different colors. Every trader builds two accounts, one financial, one emotional. When you stop being accountable, both accounts start to drain silently. You tell yourself the story you want to hear. It was just bad luck. The setup looked perfect. The market was manipulated. But accountability doesn't care about your stories. It cares about your patterns. And the mirror doesn't lie. It remembers every impulsive entry, every ignored stop loss, every time you traded to win back respect instead of money. Accountability is not punishment. It's structure. It's the framework that turns emotional chaos into measurable growth. The best traders don't hide their losses, they study them. They treat pain like data. They turn regret into reflection. And when you start to hold yourself accountable, you begin to trade differently. You stop chasing trades for validation. You start executing trades for alignment. Because when you see yourself clearly, you don't just trade better. You think cleaner, you feel lighter, you grow faster. But accountability isn't just self-reflection. Sometimes it's external. Community, a mentor, a partner who calls out your inconsistency before it destroys your confidence. You don't need someone to praise you. You need someone who keeps you real. Someone who asks, "Did you follow your plan today?" And you can answer yes or no, without shame, without excuses, without ego. The mirror isn't there to judge you. It's there to remind you who you said you wanted to be. Every trader needs accountability, because when no one holds you responsible, you start letting your emotions make the rules. And the market has no mercy for traders who lie to themselves. Every trader starts the same way, searching for the secret. The one course, the one mentor, the one strategy that will finally make the noise make sense. And for a while, it feels like you're learning. You consume everything. Candlestick patterns, indicators, order blocks, psychology. You swim in information until you realize you're drowning in it. That's when you understand. Knowledge isn't a flood, it's a well. And the deeper it is, the calmer the surface becomes. The best traders don't drink from every source they find. They find their well and they go deep. They stop chasing new indicators every week. They stop switching systems every month. They master simplicity so thoroughly it looks complex. Because in trading, the goal isn't to know everything. It's to know yourself within the market. Knowledge without direction creates confusion. But knowledge guided by structure creates conviction. You can't control the market, but you can control your understanding of how you respond to it. That's the knowledge that matters. A trader with too much information but no filter is like a driver with too many roads and no map. Eventually, they crash. The truth is, knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. And consistent application is mastery. So build your well carefully. Read, learn, observe, but also unlearn. Discard what doesn't serve your system, and refine what keeps you calm in chaos. Sometimes the best thing a trader can learn is when to stop learning and start implementing. Because the more you study, the more you realize that trading isn't about predicting, it's about preparing. It's not about finding certainty. It's about managing uncertainty. And preparation is just another word for informed discipline. The well also isn't just about data, it's about who you listen to. Surround yourself with people who teach, not preach. People who've been humbled by the market, not hypnotized by it. Mentors, books, podcasts, communities, they're all forms of water. But only you can decide which one keeps you hydrated, and which one dilutes your focus. Drink deeply but wisely, because information can fuel you or flood you. And in the end, every trader must learn this truth. The deeper your well of knowledge, the quieter your trading becomes. Every skyscraper begins underground. Every trading career, no matter how big the dream, rests on one thing, a foundation. And yet, most traders try to build their empire on sand. They trade with rent money. They risk their savings to speed up the process. They call it ambition, but it's really desperation wearing confidence. You can't trade well when your survival depends on the next trade. You can't think clearly when fear of bills sits on your shoulder. Stress doesn't just affect your mood, it rewires your decision-making. When your financial foundation is weak, you stop trading the market and start trading your anxiety. The foundation of every great trader isn't their system. It's their stability. They build buffers, both financial and emotional. They create distance between their trading capital and their life expenses. Because when your rent, your meals, and your peace don't depend on your next position, you can finally think like a professional, not like a gambler. Your foundation also includes your lifestyle. The small, unglamorous things no one posts about. Sleep, diet, exercise, routine, mental reset. These are not side quests, they're part of the game. You can't expect clarity from a mind running on caffeine and chaos. You can't expect discipline from a body that's constantly drained. Trading isn't a job, it's a state of mind. And that mind is built on habits. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your daily routine. That's why the best traders protect their energy like it's part of their portfolio. They know when to walk away. They treat rest as a strategy. They treat life balance as risk management. Because consistency doesn't just come from charts. It comes from rhythm. And rhythm comes from a life that's aligned, where money, time, and health are not fighting each other. So before you increase your lot size, increase your stability. Before you buy another trading course, buy yourself time to think, to breathe, to live. Because the trader who lives in panic will always trade in panic. And panic never pays. Build your foundation like your future depends on it. Because it does. And when life is stable, the market becomes just another challenge, not your only hope. At the end of every trade, every lesson, every meltdown, it always comes back to one person. You. Not your mentor. Not your favorite analyst. Not your trading group or your indicators. Just you sitting in that same chair, staring at the same screen, wondering if you're built for this. And if you trade long enough, you'll realize something that no book, no course, no webinar ever told you. That you are both the weapon and the wound. Your belief system is your real account balance. When it's strong, you can recover from anything. When it's weak, you'll sabotage even your best setups. Every trader goes through a season where the market breaks them. You lose money, yes, but more painfully, you lose belief. You start to question your system, your timing, your edge, and eventually yourself. That's when you discover that your greatest support system was never external. It was internal. It was your ability to get up one more time, to open that chart again, to face your fear, to trust your process even when nothing makes sense. I've been there, staring at the screen at 3 a.m., chart lines blurry from exhaustion, asking myself, what am I even doing? And somehow I'd still wake up the next day and start again. That right there is your real edge, that quiet, irrational persistence, that stubborn faith that refuses to die, even when logic says you should quit. You see, every trader loves their plan until it fails. Every trader loves discipline until emotions strike. But belief is what keeps you grounded when reason breaks. Belief isn't about confidence. Confidence fades. Belief endures. Belief means you've accepted the risk, but still choose to act. It's knowing that you'll lose sometimes, and trading anyway. It's trusting your process, even when the outcome scares you. That's what separates the survivor from the statistic. And let me tell you something, you don't build this kind of belief overnight. It's forged in loss, hardened by self-doubt, refined through pain. But once it's built, nothing can shake it. Because no matter what support system you have, no mentor can trade for you. No friend can hold your mouse. No community can manage your fear in the middle of a volatile session. At some point, it's just you. You and your thoughts. You and your reactions. You and the decision that decides everything. That's why every trader must learn to trust themselves deeply. Not blindly but faithfully. To know when to pause, when to adapt, when to walk away. To build emotional self-control not out of pride, but out of respect for your craft. And to remember, trading doesn't just reveal your strategy. It reveals you, your discipline, your patience, your fears, your ego. The market isn't against you. It's just mirroring you. So take care of yourself like you take care of your capital. Feed your mind. Rest your body. Guard your peace. Because you are the platform everything else stands on. Your system will fail without you. Your discipline will fade without you. Your account will crumble without you. You are the constant in a world of volatility. The one variable you can actually control. And when you finally understand that, you stop fearing the market and start mastering yourself. Because no matter how loud the losses, how uncertain the charts, how painful the journey, the trader who still believes, it is the trader who survives. You are your first and final support system, the only one you'll always have. Protect it, build it, believe in it, because in this game, the market doesn't reward talent, it rewards endurance. The market has no memory, no sympathy, and no bias. It doesn't care who you are, what you've lost, or what you deserve. But if you listen long enough, you'll realize something powerful. It does respect structure, because chaos rewards only those who are ready for it. And every trader who survives the storm does so not by predicting the market, but by building something solid enough to stand on when it hits. Your support systems, emotional accountability, knowledge, lifestyle, these are not accessories. They are your architecture. They are what keep you steady when your conviction shakes. But even architecture is useless if the builder doesn't believe in his own design. That's why it always comes back to you, the builder, the one who laid every brick of discipline, every beam of belief, every pillar of patience. You built this. You endured the losses that no one saw. You fought the fear that no one understood. You stayed when others quit. And that right there is the unseen part of trading no one can chart. The market may measure your profit, but your growth, that's measured by how much structure you built in the shadows, by how well you held yourself together when everything else was falling apart. So now, when you sit in front of those charts, remember, you're not just a trader, you're a builder. You've spent months, maybe years, constructing the mindset, the routine, the resilience that most people will never understand. You've learned to treat failure as feedback, pain as data, patience as an edge. And if you've built all that, then stand on it. Stand firm, because that's what your foundation is for. Let others chase shortcuts. Let others gamble. You've built something that lasts. At the end of the day, the market will rise and fall. Trends will come and go. But what you've built inside yourself, that structure, that discipline, that belief, that's permanent capital. So stand on it. Trade from it. Live from it. Because the market doesn't reward those who move fast. It rewards those who stand strong. Stand on what you build, and the market will eventually stand with you.